The office intercom buzzed. "Pastor, there's a man here to see you." Before going to meet the guy, I quickly checked what was left in the fund used for this sort of thing, the Good Samaritan Fund. I brought the man to my office and we talked for a little while. He told me about how he had lost his job, which caused him to fall behind on his rent. I asked if he had food, and he said he had a little and had been going to the community meal offered at the local Salvation Army. But it was late fall in Minnesota. He needed a place to stay. He was in the dependent category. You never are sure if the story you hear from folks in these sorts of conversations is true or false or somewhere in between. You never are sure about whether the person is a leech or one to be pitied, which subcategory they fit in, and whether that even matters. I thought about all of that as I spoke with this man, and then I thought about the parable of the Good Samaritan, and I realized this was a man in need, and we had the means to help him. He must be a neighbor, therefore, even if he is a leech. I wasn't sure a night in the Super 8 was his greatest need, but it wouldn't hurt. And then, before leaving, instead of saying thanks as usual, the man asked to pray with me. And he prayed to God about his needs and about his gratitude for the congregation's generosity. And then he prayed for me. He prayed for my family and for my work in the church. And I don't know how many people did that for me. I don't know how many people do that for you. But he did. And I admit, when I let down my guard a bit, it felt good to have someone pray for me. Even a Samaritan. You know, I think Jesus did it on purpose. I don't think he picked the Samaritan at random. I think he wanted mercy to mess everything up. I think he wanted to share a nice morality lesson, sure, but I also think he wanted to tear down those walls and ruin our system of categories. Categories we think are there to help, but so often are just used to judge and separate and excuse us from seeing one another as beloved of God. Categories which become our own prisons. Categories we need to be freed from, for we can't do it on our own. It takes a good Samaritan to free us, the kind that'll care for you when you're beat down or pray for you when you're trapped by your own categories. I don't think Jesus likes categories very much. He'd prefer we all just saw each other as neighbor, because that's how he sees us. It's definitely messier, and it doesn't answer at all how to love. But in addition to a nice little morality piece, this story of the Good Samaritan does give us something we really need. A new perspective on one another. And it seems everything depends on perspective.